Alright, hello fellow fit freaks and medieval martial artists. This is a weapon crafting tutorial. So, real quick, to get started, there are two basic kinds of boffers we're probably going to be making. The two most common types are depending on the cores. One is the golf club core and the other is PVC pipe. These are the two easiest things to work with for general purpose. They're easy, also the cheapest. So let's go ahead and start with the golf club. Just like that. You can get these. Obviously, you're not going to want to use like brand new clubs for this. That's ridiculously expensive. Just go over to Goodwill. You can get these for $2 a piece for an iron, $4 for a wood. Woods are a little longer. That's the only real difference. You want to look for the fiberglass ones. Those are better for this purpose because the metal ones can bend. Fiberglass will not bend, and it's a little easier to cut. So all you're going to do is take a hacksaw and cut it off right there below the head. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. Now go ahead and take a file. In this case I've got my Leatherman here. I'm just going to file down the top of that a little bit so it doesn't run the risk of tearing through the foam that we put over top of it. And we'll go ahead and just put a little bit of duct tape over that as well, just for a little extra insurance that it's not going to tear through anything. Okay. From there, we want is our foam. For a golf club, the easiest thing to do is to use a camping pad. This piece is from Fred Meyer. It was like $12, I believe. I've already used a lot of this. This is only about half the length of the original thing, so you can get a lot of swords out of one of these things if you choose to go that route. Alright. Go ahead and do this. Just lay that right on there. And figure out about how wide you want your blade. For a striking edge on a boffer weapon, you want about, an inch, maybe a little 3/4 to an inch of foam between the core and the edge of the blade. We're going to go a bit wider than that for this purpose. Let's see. I didn't bring my Sharpie out. Okay, and we're back with a Sharpie. So all we're going to do here is we want to mark the edges of our weapon. Straight edge is very helpful for this. If you don't have an actual straight edge, just anything that'll serve the purpose is fine. And heck, you don't even really need it. You can just eyeball it, really. It's a convenience, but it's not absolutely necessary. Alright, so now we're going to take our box knife. Just cut right down there. Okay. We're gonna want 3 layers of that at least. You can go up to 4. 3 is adequate. Oops. Keep that steady. And I'm already going off. Okay, let's just go ahead and mark this again. That's gonna be easier. Okay. Okay. And one more. You know, being right-handed, I probably should have done this the other way around. Oh well. There. Okay. And cut that. Oops. And one with the line there at the end. Okay. Alright, so next thing we want to do, we want to take one of these and cut it in half right down the middle. We also want to go ahead and cut just a bit off the tips of these. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. First thing, take one of the full pieces, lay it down. Alright, go ahead and just tape our core in place there. Just to hold it where we want it for now. Okay. Take the two pieces we just cut off. We go ahead and put them up there. And we'll tape them in place just like that. Okay. The two pieces we cut in half to either side of the core. And we'll tape those in place. You want them tight up against the core, just so they won't move around a whole lot once the sword is complete. Okay. And again, down at the base. Okay, and last piece on top, just like that. Okay, so you can see we've got the basic shape of the thing right here. All we really need to do right now is just cover the whole thing in tape from the tip to bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. Start by securing that tip piece. We want that there to make sure, absolutely sure, that the tip of the core does not poke through and stab somebody. Whoops, we made a mistake here. So we'll just peel that back off and fix that. Actually, you know what? I think that's going to work for us. We can just make an adjustment down at the bottom. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and slice that off. And that will be like that. Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead and cover the whole thing in tape from tip to bottom. Now you want to make sure that the foam is all held together firmly. So you don't want, because you don't want the blade rattling apart when you're swinging it. You don't want the core slipping between layers of foam and coming out and poking through the side. That's no good. But you don't want to tape it too tightly, because then you're just going to compress the foam, and all that's going to do is make the blade smaller, and it's going to make it hurt more when you strike with it. So tight, but don't you want it tight, but don't compress it. Okay. We can go ahead and take this piece we cut off the end and just go ahead and tape that on the end there as well, just for a little added buffer between the blade, the striking edge, and the end of the core. Take that right on there. And pieces over that. One thing to be certain of when you're doing this, though, you don't want to use too much tape, because that's where a fair amount of the sword's weight is going to come from. And the lighter the weapon, the faster it's going to move. Alright, so we've left this untaped so far. Now, this is optional, but if you want to, you can cover your sword with cloth. And the easiest way to do that is just to go like to the dollar store or something and buy some straight stockings. They're pretty much the perfect size for this. Just slip it right over the edge there, the end there, and then just pull it on down. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and tape that down. Okay, very nice. Now one more thing. We're going to go ahead and put a cap on the end of the tip here. It serves a few purposes. One thing, it protects you or anybody else if you swing your sword back and there's somebody behind you. You don't want to hit them with just the rubber tip because it's still pretty darn hard. Or if you pull back and smack yourself in the thigh, that's going to hurt. And also, it's going to provide a bit of counterweight to the blade to give you a better balance. So we could use more of the camp pad foam for that, but it's easier to use this stuff. This is PVC insulation foam. Get this at any hardware store, pretty cheap. And we're going to be using that in a minute to make our PVC sword. Let's go ahead and the right size for that. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so just going to slice off a chunk of that. Okay, fit it right on over like that. And then tape it down. And we'll go ahead, tape the end close. Go ahead and get this there a little bit. Alright, and then just finish covering that with the tape. Alright, so, really buffer there. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of this vinyl electrical tape to finish wrapping the hilt. Electrical tape, very nice for making buffers. It's partly just aesthetic. You can use it to just make little designs on your blade or whatever if you want to. Just pray them up a little bit. I really like it for making hilts, for making handles, because I find it a little bit easier on the hand than the duct tape. Another nice thing, like the duct tape, pulls back up easily if you need to make adjustments. Although unfortunately it doesn't tear quite as nicely, so you will need something. You will need a knife or scissors to cut it with. Okay, very good. So that is how to make a flat blade with a golf club core. The other main type of weapon is a PVC core.